Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and everybody knows Paul Barron, right?
Here's the list of all Ripple partnerships. You can, of course, see all these different. Man, this is this is crazy. But these are all. There's SBI Holdings right there. Just bank after bank after bank after bank. I mean, there it is, guys. This is probably just what is in, the coffer right now versus the deals that they're probably working today to start to execute this even more. So is this a sleeping giant that could be waiting for an explosion?
Oh yes, the XRP sleeping giant. And Paul Barron is well aware, which is why, guess who's coming to XRP Las Vegas? Paul Barron. He was just added down here. Let me show you. Brad Combs just added Paul Barron right somewhere in here. There he is. My understanding is that Paul Barron will literally have a setup where he's doing interviews. I've gone to a lot of these Bitcoin conferences, and they always have like CoinDesk or somebody like that, and they have like a booth and a setup where they can conduct interviews. Well, Paul Barron, I think, is a great guy to be picked to do that. He will be at XRP Las Vegas. And just a reminder, the website is xrplasvegas.com. If you go in the description of all of my videos, you'll see it. There's XRP Las Vegas. You can get discounted tickets. You can get MGM Grand hotel rooms discounted. I also have my private group where I do extra video content without ads, if that's your thing. I do that. I do 2 of them a day. You can join through YouTube, and you can join through my Patreon at daixrp.com. I'm just trying to provide you a menu of choices on that. The market has pulled back a little bit this morning. XRP, I saw it get as low as like maybe $2.59 or so. If it dips back below $2.60, I'm going to back the truck up again today. I'm ready and willing. Patrick McHenry does not have some preference for a Bitcoin strategic reserve because he's an adult. He gets it. Listen to this. Bitcoin Maxis those Bitcoin children are not going to like this at all. And he refers, by the way, to the sovereign wealth fund. A sovereign wealth fund does not infer one asset of any kind. It infers a fund, a group of assets. And that's what adults would do. I'm dumbfounded every day at these Bitcoin children trying to make these demands. Oh no, it needs to only be Bitcoin. These guys are going to get laughed out of rooms if they're not already, if that's their stance. I believe that's why Jack Mallers, you haven't seen him continue his supposed war at the hill he wants to die on, the war on. He briefly mentions it in a video that I'm going to show you today, but he's not going as hard as he was. But here's the adult talk.
I got to ask you about the Bitcoin strategic reserve. It's all
And by the way, CoinDesk, who is a Bitcoin Ethereum propaganda machine, they're now making that they're making the transition to being a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, maybe Sui, maybe 1 or 2 more, because the VC's got their allocations. Who do you think backs all these guys? It's a game, folks. But anyway, here's an adult answer. She's trying to get the Bitcoin narrative going, but he answers it as an adult.
I got to ask you about the Bitcoin strategic reserve. It's all anyone in this industry talks about. I know when Lummis presented the plan last summer at the Bitcoin conference, it was a Bitcoin strategic reserve. Now we're talking about maybe a crypto stockpile that could have other digital assets. What are your thoughts there? Do you have one preference over the other?
No, and it's something I don't need to I don't want to spend a ton of time on.
Yeah.
Because I think we have such a massive debt and deficit, budget deficit, that we have to get government efficiency going. That is the imperative. You see President Trump announce that we're going to have a sovereign wealth fund.
Yep.
Something like this might fall into some thinking like that on how we invest in ourselves to compete with the rest of the world. I think the good news is we are still the place where global capital wants to come.
Yes, sirree. And here's the child, Jack Mallers. And I said here, enjoy Jack Mallers calling Ripple and Stellar and XRP and XLM scams. The Bitcoin Maxis are still having trouble reading the crypto room. Going to be fun watching the kid grow up.
The correct answer is Jed McCaleb. People don't know, chat. Jed McCaleb founded Mt. Gox, supposedly knew there was a hole in its software, sold it to Mark Karpellis. Eventually, it was insolvent, and that whole thing happened. He co-founded something called OpenCoin, which eventually became Ripple Labs, and he developed XRP. And then he left that and created Stellar Lumen Coin. So he's founded 3 things that just scammed people and lost everyone a lot of money.
Well, that's a lie, because I've made a lot of money on XRP. I haven't sold the bulk of it. I've made a lot of money on XLM. Some that I did sell. This kid, I mean, they have no problem lying. All eyes on XRP. You'd be freaking out too if you were a Bitcoin Maxi. Once they lose number one, they have to explain why to own it in competitive terms. They know that would be game over. Riz XRP, he's showing us 1.6 million views on the Tristan Tate, where XRP wins, your favorite crypto asset is. Then Patrick Bet David worded it differently. Which crypto has the best long-term technology? XRP wins that one too. In both polls, wins over Bitcoin. And then the Gary Cardones, who are Bitcoin Maxis, he says, this is what happens when polls are run by people who don't understand the subject matter. The question is wrong without measurement. Dumb polls equal dumb answers. Well, now you got, Gary, you got 2 polls now that were both worded differently, and the market spoke, okay? So I'm translating Gary Cardone here. The poll needs to be run the way CNN would do a political poll with bias towards Bitcoin. That's what he really means. They need to get him or Michael Saylor or Jack Mallers to word the poll, right? So they're sampling only Bitcoin Maxis. Memex is interesting because Bank of America, which holds patents linking XRP, helped create it. This is from a tweet from Wolf of All Streets. U.S. Securities Exchange Memex has filed with the SEC to list a spot XRP ETF, according to Cointelegraph. And this guy is saying that, and I don't know this, but this is what he's saying. Memex was launched by a group of major financial institutions, including Bank of America, Ripple partner, Citadel Securities, and others. The aim to increase competition in the U.S. stock exchange landscape. Its filing to list a spot XRP ETF adds to this competitive pressure by introducing another platform for trading cryptocurrencies. Very interesting stuff. All right, the Ripple case, now that Doge is going to investigate the SEC, the Ripple case is being highlighted. This is on Alex Jones' show.
This is really exciting to me because if you look at what Trump and Elon Musk have been talking about is, and Scott Bessent, right, monetizing the assets of the U.S. balance sheet, right? Well, how do you do that? Well, it's like a sovereign wealth fund, right? So if you have a corrupt SEC, it's just going to get in the way. So I think you start investigating and let Elon investigate the SEC and see the fraud, the corruption, the abuse. What I think might happen is that the lawsuit against Ripple might go away. I think you're starting to see the abuses in using this lawfare against people, which you're so sadly accustomed to. Is Doge got access to the...
All right, there you have it, folks. And this was the tweet, and I just wanted to just show you that this. First of all, let me hit the refresh button. The Doge SEC tweet where they're asking people to DM them. insights on finding and fixing waste, fraud, and abuse relating to the Securities Exchange Commission. It's now been viewed 17.5 million times. I want you to go through here and look at the replies. This was a reply I did this morning. First do ETHgate, then follow the money laundering question mark on FTX. The real controversy was the political donations which Biden admin made go away. This is the FTX org chart. If anything screams potential money laundering, that chart does. And then this is where I was making them aware of the rigged from the start video. This is Ashley Prosper making them aware of her Freedom of Information Act request to find out all the emails between JP Morgan and the SEC over XRP and or Ripple. Okay? And she got the runaround from the SEC on that. Then John Deaton has DM'd them. You got Laura Loomer, who's not even in the XRP community, but she's a heavyweight in social media and has ties to the Trump administration. You might want to start by investigating former SEC employee Bill Hinman, whose OIG report the SEC is still refusing to release. This is like the XRP army is all up in this thing, folks. I mean, everywhere. And FTX too. FTX was not investigated, not for the real stuff. Remember, Sam Bankman-Fried's parents were heavily involved political contributors. They had a PAC for the Democrat Party. That's where the real bodies are buried. Then I wanted to make Elon Musk aware that Grok 3 knows. Here's what I asked Grok 3, which came out today. If you were Elon Musk and doing an investigation about fixing waste, fraud, and abuse relating to the SEC, list 10 crypto-related cases or issues you would focus on in your investigation. 1. SEC versus Ripple Labs. Investigate whether the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple for allegedly selling unregistered securities was a justified use of resources or an example of regulatory overreach or capture. The case dragged on for years, costing taxpayers in Ripple millions, and some argue it targeted XRP unfairly while giving Ethereum a free pass. 2. Ethereum free pass, Hinman conflict of interest. Dig into allegations of bias stemming from the former SEC official, William Hinman's ties to Ethereum. Claims suggest Ethereum avoided scrutiny as a security due to insider connections, raising questions about fairness and potential corruption in SEC decision-making. You got that right. And then here's Elon. This is another thing that needs to be investigated. Remember those guys? I've covered it a lot. Remember the guys from Multicoin Capital, Kyle Samani and Tushar Jain, that bragged about how they were shorting XRP? They even floated the idea, well, we think that XRP is a security and we think there's a good chance that the SEC is gonna sue Ripple, okay? The problem with that is this, and Mike Novogratz did the same thing. The problem with that is both they and Mike Novogratz can be tied directly to potentially having knowledge of what was going on behind closed doors with Bill Hinman and what the SEC was doing. Remember the video of Mike Novogratz, like 8 days before Bill Hinman gives the speech, he says that he bets dimes to donuts that they'll say Ethereum was a security, but now it's not, which is exactly what happened. The two Multicoin Capital guys have two limited, at the time that they were saying all this, they had two limited partners, Union Square Ventures and A16Z, and those two VCs were the only two venture capital firms that were represented in the room when they were presenting what would become the Ethereum free pass to the SEC and Bill Hinman. And I've always asked the question, did these guys have knowledge of what was going to happen before it happened? And did they go out and start bragging about how they're shorting XRP with that knowledge? That needs to be investigated. Big time. You seen all these people doing pump and dumps with meme coins back during the Ethereum boom days with the ICOs, and then once the free pass was given. Remember, Joseph Lubin had the token foundry and he thought he could get away with it, and he shut it down once Gensler came in because once ETHgate was exposed, he was worried that they were going to target him over the token foundry, so it was shut down. But what did the token foundry do? It was issuing tokens left and right. And which VCs were involved? That's worthy of looking into, because ultimately the retail was getting dumped on from that. All right, we got a lot more in DAIXRP.com. And remember, you can go in the description. You can either join the group through YouTube, I've got the link, or you can go to the Patreon at DAIXRP.com. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes. Well, I'll play the part of this naked shorting. The rant I just did is what it reminds me of what Elon Musk said they did to Tesla. I'll play that in the group. But anyway, I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family, away we go. Here it is.